Okay, so have you heard the saying, correlation does not mean causation? Yeah, I've not heard it. So, are you doing psychology? Have you talked about this? Okay. I guess you. Yeah, that's fine. So, I would expect that you'll probably see this if you go on in psychology. Um, so, two words, correlation and causation. A lot of the time in life, you will see data that's like this. So on the left, I've got a graph, and what's happening is it looks like when x goes up, y goes up. Would you agree with that? The gradient is positive of that line that I've drawn there. But there's a there's almost a trap. And the trap is to say, okay, by increasing x, I will cause the increase in y. So on the right, I've written two sentences, and I'm just wondering whether you're starting to see a difference between the two. One sentence says, on average, when one variable goes up, the other one tends to go up as well. The other sentence is saying the relationship is caused by one variable, x. X is causing the change in y. So keep that in mind. Are we saying they tend to increase together, or are we saying one variable is causing the increase in the other? So that's hence the name causation. This is all a bit fluffy, I know. So why don't we do some examples together? Um, I actually think we could just do this together as a class. All right, so I'm not going to write this down. We can just do this verbally together as a class. So, all right, so question one. If you graph height and mathematical scores, you'll find a positive gradient. So does that mean taller people are better at maths?
Yeah.
Not necessarily. I like that qualification. What makes you say that, Louise?
Because older people tend to be taller.
Okay, older people tend to be taller.
It's something like that. Older people tend to be taller, meaning they've got more experience.
So do you see the danger here? If I just look at the data, I could say, oh, you're short, therefore you're not good at maths. Because when you get taller, you get better at maths. Brian is.
Insane.
um, so even so, I know this sounds silly, and I think it should sound silly to you, but it's actually really easy to change it to something different, and it's not that everyone believes it. So, even long after you've forgotten everything in this subject, I hope that you'll have some sort of sensitivity to the subtleties here. Are we saying that one variable causes a change in another variable? So, Louise has offered an explanation. As you get older, you get taller, and as you get older, you get better at maths. Um,
Like actually keep studying. Only if you keep studying and learning the new stuff.
mhm. Yep. I can't remember if this was in last year's textbook. I think in a previous edition of this textbook, they offered the explanation that taller people might have better access to like food and like care and all that. So obviously they're going to do better at school as well, or like the other way around. So if you're tall, you might be well nourished. Okay, question two is a funny one. The more churches in town, the more alcohol is consumed.
This sounds pretty like heavy on its alcohol. We have three churches. So.
Okay, so if I want to reduce the number of drunken incidents in town, let's shut down all the churches. That will solve all our problems. Do you agree with that suggestion?
No, because of the scars of the churches.
Well, why not, Tom? What do you think? Huh?
That would not work because even if the churches were the cause of the drinking, the fact that the churches are no longer there would not just instantly cause mental damage and scarring from going to church to disappear. So these people would
So there's an assumption here, right? That the churches are causing the drinking to happen.
If we're going by that thing, yes.
Yeah. And yeah, what's up, Kai?
So like more churches would mean more people, which would mean more people.
That's right. The more people you have in town, the more likely you'll have religious gatherings, including churches. So if you have more people, you'll have more drunken incidents. So actually, maybe like I could have changed churches to number of diners, or number of ice cream stores, or number of schools, or number of teachers. A bigger town will have more things and more drunkenness. You're right.
Yeah, no, but not enough. Just saying
All right, so I think we can keep going. Maybe I'll let you do a few on your own. Let's do a couple more, and then I'll let you discuss these in your groups. So let's look at number three. Number three is saying the more ice cream is consumed, the more drownings there will be. So by that logic, I can get rid of drownings by abolishing ice cream.
No. I said because of weather, like the temperature.
Yep.
This goes against all.
Yeah. What do you want to say, Tim?
Hear me out. There's a few things that you could come up with from here.
Mm.
You could just assume that someone has eaten too much ice cream and that wants to swim and something's happened and they haven't been able to stay afloat and drown. Or
Yeah.
you could say they were trying to swim whilst eating ice cream and one thing led to another and they drowned.
Both rather far-fetched, though.
Yeah,
I would say.
But I'm just going off the book's logic.
Yeah. Is the logic sound?
Yeah.
That's the question, right?
No?
Okay, so everyone's getting pretty chatty. So do you want me to just leave you to finish this off yourself?
yes, please.
So you guys have got common sense, yeah? So yeah, I thought so too. I'll see if I can find a pic. I couldn't find it earlier. There was this graph that showed private schools versus public schools NAPLAN data, and the public schools were way better than the public schools.
The public school is better than the public.
But does that mean private schools are better?
No, there's still
Well, you have to think that when you go to a private school, you're expected to do well.
If you go to a private school, you have if you go to a private school, you have more money, and so your parents will emphasize education more. I think that's it. All right, so I'll see if I can